Hi, welcome to Andrea's Kitchen. Thank you for coming in and cooking with me. Today we're going to be making beef pasole, so let's get started. Normally I make chicken or pork or beef pasole. Last time I made it, I made pork, so this time I'm making beef. I have my pan heated on medium high right now, and I'm going to go ahead and start dropping meat in to get it browned. And I just want to brown it a little bit because it's basically going to go ahead and get cooked in the soup at that time. But I like to brown my meat just a little bit. It was 2 pounds of ground chuck. I like using that. It comes out real well when I boil it in my soup. And there's enough fat content, but not too much to make my food greasy. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. Okay, I have my water ready, getting ready to boil. What I'm going to do with my water, as soon as it comes up to boil, is I'm going to put 2 Roma tomatoes, 5 ancho chilies, and a whole onion. And I'm going to do about 10 arbos. That's how I'm going to get my sauce. That's pretty much, and I'm going to do most of this garlic. I am going to put a little bit of garlic in with the meat. It's browning real well. I am not going to put any salt and pepper right this second. I'm going to wait and let it taste because I actually used chicken or beef stock today. So because I used the beef stock, I feel it has enough salt. If it doesn't, I can add salt to it. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and put some garlic in. And just let it cook with the meat. It'll bloom the garlic. And then the rest of the garlic will actually go into my soup pot. So I have my big soup pot today. I'm actually using my other soup pot, so unfortunately I had to use my big one. But there are 4 quarts of chicken stock in this container. I'm also going to put a half of white onion in here, and these are my seasons. I have a teaspoon and a half of cilantro, 4 bay leaves. I have 1 tablespoon, or no, I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of cumin and 1 tablespoon of oregano. And this will be equivalent to about 3 cloves of garlic because I have 3 in with the meat to cook. But as soon as I go ahead and get this a little bit more brown, we're going to dump it in there in our soup mix, and then we'll go ahead and put this in our pot to cook. As soon as the vegetables or the chilies are soft and the vegetables are soft, then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to grind them. That's going to be my liquid sauce. That's how I'm going to make my sauce. You know, you can use a can of Las Palmas, but it has to be a red sauce. It can't be an enchilada sauce. You can use anything that you know how to use, but today I'm pretty much making my sauce from scratch. So when I make things from scratch too, I don't always just over season right away, especially if it's going to cook, because my pozole will have to cook for about 2 hours to get everything nice and done. So that's in the cooking time is when I'll start tasting, see how the flavors develop. I'll probably let everything cook for about an hour. And then I'll also see how spicy it is. Because if it's real spicy, simple fix for that would be just add, a couple of cups of water with granule seasonings, or use chicken stock or beef stock. It really doesn't matter. Your beautiful red sauce is going to come into play and make everything taste just absolutely great. Okay, so almost ready to dump into my soup pan. I started out by using a tablespoon of canola oil to fry my meat in. Oops, flying meat, but that's what it's looking like so far. Almost done. So 2 pounds, it'll at least take a good hour and 20 minutes for it to cook all the way through. I like my meat super soft. I do not like any chew in my stews or my soups. I am one of those that cannot tolerate tough meat. I do not like it. One thing about a chuck, once you start to boil it in its season, in the red sauce, it's going to taste delicious because it's going to incorporate the sauce into the meat and just sit in the meat, just like the hominy. So basically, I am going to use 7 cups of white hominy, and I'm also going to put it in here. But as soon as I get this meat in there, I'll show you guys, and then we'll start cooking. Okay, my meat looks good. I feel everything is browned. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. Bring my boiling pan over here and get this boiling. I'm going to dump everything into here. All the juices, take the bits off the bottom of the pan. You know me, bits are flavor. Okay, so I got everything into there. And I got my half an onion in here. And I do not like the crunch of onion. I like the onion flavor, but I do not like the texture of the onion. It has to be really boiled well, and then I'll blend for my actual red sauce. Plus, I don't want any chunks in my red sauce. Red sauce, I feel, is supposed to be smooth. But here, I have that half of the onion. It's going to cook down. Whatever does not cook down, I will have cooked the flavor out of it. I'll just pull the rest of the onion out. But this ensures that I get a good onion taste. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and put my seasonings in. And I'm going to put my garlic in. I'm going to use my finger so that I get every bit of the garlic out. So, I'm a hands-on person. Don't want to waste any of this good garlic. Then I'm going to take my seasons and I'm just going to drop it in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a stir. And then what I'm going to do is let this start cooking. And then what I'll do is go ahead and I will get my veggies and my chilies boiled real nicely, and this is going to give my meat a chance to start cooking. And then what I'll do is blend everything in and let it cook. My meat I normally let cook for about an hour by itself at least, so that it's really got some softness going on here. We can actually add things to it as it starts to cook. So here we go. Alrighty, it's 12:03. We are going to start cooking. So we got our soup base on and our important components in there ready to cook. A lot of people will take the core out of the tomato. I don't. I leave everything in. I blend everything. My chilies, though, when I do pull them out, though, I will go ahead and pull the stem out. I pull the stem out after I cook them, and then what I do is take out the seeds. Because I can pretty much tell from how hot the water is, you know, as far as chili spice goes, how hot it's going to make my sauce. Sometimes chilies are hotter than normal. They can... I don't know if it's how they sit. I try to rotate my chilies so I keep them soft. Not only that, if I keep them this texture, then I don't get pieces of the chili in my food. I don't really like that. I like my chili sauce pretty smooth. I don't really want to taste any bit of the actual chili itself. So that's how I do it. Like I said, I don't like onion too much, so I keep everything just like this, and I just let it cook so I don't have all these pieces and I'm looking for them all over the pot. Everything's starting to boil, so I'm going to go ahead and drop my onion in. And I'm going to drop my chilies in. And my tomatoes. And I'm just going to do it that way. Just plop everything in there. Just let it boil. Because what I want to do is make my chilies soft. Really soft. Because if I make them soft, then they'll go ahead and blend real well. They'll be a smoother texture than a chunkier, hard texture. A lot of times people will toast them. I actually toast them when they're fresh, not when they're dehydrated or they're. I just let them rehydrate in water, and it seems to work fine with me. For me, so I say do what you like to do, and make it your own, because everybody's taste buds are different. And I've seen pozole made so many different ways. I've seen it made with beans and everything like that. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I love pinto beans. So for me, that would be delicious. I wouldn't have to put a side of beans. I could just drop my pinto beans in there. Boy, my pinto beans would give it a good flavor. I'm not sure if it's pasole flavor, but I guess you can call it whatever you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let these boil. And then what I will do is blend them and put them into the soup mixture. So after I get done boiling these, because this will take about 15-20 minutes, I'll come back and I'll show you that I'm blending, and we're going to drop in to the pot and let everything cook for about an hour, as well as we'll place the hominy in too, because I like my hominy really soaked. I washed it 2-3 times, rinsed it, and I like mine just soaked in the pozole sauce. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back. We've got the soup base boiling right now with the meat in it. It's almost been an hour, so I took time to boil my tomatoes, my chili, and I have my onion. I just wanted to show you what I do with my chilies though, when I take my chili out. I usually will take my chili out like that, and then I just open it basically, see if all the seeds came out. If they did, that's great. And then you know what I do is I take the flesh from the chili and I just basically go like that and throw the skin of the chili right over here, which makes it nice and easy. You know, the texture I told you I didn't like from the chili skin won't be on there. And then by the time I do get done blending it, if there is some, there are some chilies I don't mind, like the chili negro is a good one. I don't know, the flavor, it just blends real well. Some of these other little chilies, like I have a problem with the California chilies, and the New Mexico, sometimes the skin is a little bit tough when I go ahead and blend. And so if that happens, then all I do is take my little strainer and I'll just strain the sauce through. But basically, that's all I do is take the flesh right off of the peel. And that is really nice. It just takes a minute and we're good to go. So I got all this goodness right here. And this is a lot of chili. It's going to be spicy. I'll tell you something. A good way to judge spicy too is to go ahead and touch the water. And then just put it down on your board. Don't use the chili hand. But I can taste the chili just in that water. So this water I will reserve in case I had more soup mix than chili, or in case I wanted spicier. I would not throw this away right away. A lot of times when I do chilies this way versus use powdered chili or ground chili, I keep my water because it makes my, when I go to make enchilada sauce, it flavors my water really, really well. Okay, this is my chili negro. This one is a good chili. You don't even have to scrape it. It'll blend real well. The only thing is, I am going to get a couple of these seeds out because if I don't, sauce will be really hot. And I don't want my pozole to be too hot. I can always add more heat after the fact versus right now, you know, once you put the heat in, you can't take it back out, unfortunately. So it's better that you go ahead and not spice it as much. You can add to it. Like I always say, you can add spices to anything. It's good to flavor your food while you're cooking it. Like I put garlic in the meat. I put garlic in the actual soup base, things like that. It's really good to do at that time. Salt and peppers are good to do at that time. Like today I said I didn't add any salt at first because I was using a granulated broth or beef seasoning is what I'm trying to say. So instead of doing salt and pepper right then and there, I thought, oh, I'm going to wait because we're going to naturally have pepper and a heat source with the chili, and then the salt will be from the chicken or the beef stock you use. So that's why I didn't want to overdo it. So my onions are almost done. So basically I'm going to throw them in like this, and I also will use a little bit of the liquid, my boiling liquid. But I'm just going to kind of mix up a few things so I can get a real even mixture. Boy, I sure am messy. I'm all into cooking, let me tell you. All over me, the kitchen. Good thing I do not mind cutting up or cleaning up after myself. Otherwise, I'd be in a world of hurt. Because, boy, I sure can make a mess. So basically, this is a portion of my seasoning and my sauce. Basically, here I have my chilies, my onion. I have, I'll put a little bit of salt and pepper after I mix. That I will have to add probably a little salt and pepper to see if I can get the right balance of taste that I want. So let me see here. Boy, I sure can make a mess. Better than anybody I know. Lord have mercy. But I love cooking. It's a fun mess. And like I said, I don't even mind cleaning up. So what I'm going to do is blend everything. I'm going to take just a little bit of liquid. And then let's take a look. Okay, we're still chunky. We still have some blending to do. We don't want chunky sauce. We want smooth. And especially for me because all the onions are in here. Like I said, I do not like the texture of the onion crunch. So I want mine to be nice and smooth. We're going to add just a little bit more liquid. Boy, you wouldn't believe these 5 little chilies and the 10 arbol, arbol chilies. You would not believe how hot that sauce can become. Okay, I was just mixing up the soup base too. I'm going to try a piece of the meat in a minute. And I'm also going to check the texture of that one onion I put in there. It still could use about 15-20 minutes, that onion. It's not quite soft, so I don't believe I've rendered all the flavor out of it. Okay. Let me see. Oh, this is looking fantastic. Let's scrape the sides one more time so I don't have any onion pieces that I don't want in there or something's not dissolved. Okay, so this is when salt and pepper comes into play. Because the spice is not bad. It's very mild in my opinion, and I like very spicy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper because I do believe pepper is flavor. We use a lot of pepper in my family. Salt we don't use as much. Getting old, they call it blood pressure and all that other goodness, but I still try to use some. But when you make a sauce from scratch, you do need to add salt and pepper. And most of the time you have to add salt because tomatoes and things like that can be bitter. Chilies can be bitter. That's why I use different kinds of chilies. Because some of the chilies are nutty, spicy, really flavorful. Now I'm going to try again. I put quite a bit of salt. I would say I put a half a teaspoon of salt in here. Boy, changed the taste dramatically. Now it's not bitter. It shows the chili flavor. I can taste pieces of onion, but they're not big enough to have a crunch where it offends me. I really can taste the different chilies too in here. But anyways, I'm going to mix it one more time, and it tastes perfect. There's plenty of salt in here. It's all really good. Like I said, it changed the taste dramatically. Boy, the tomato, I can actually taste the tomato. The reason I use the 2 tomatoes is to give it some silkiness, some acidity, and some texture in my sauce. Tastes really good. Okay, it is perfect. We are ready to go. Oh, I wanted to try the meat. The meat is getting there, but the meat will take about an hour and a half more because, like I said, I want my meat soft. But it's perfect because it'll give time for the chili to blend with this soup base and the hominy to cook as well. What I'll do is make it probably, doing a medium high right now, I'll probably make it a medium and then just let everything cook for a couple hours. It'll develop its own flavors and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here and show you guys. And I'm going to dump the whole thing because that's my soup base. And like I said, if for some reason it overpowers my actual soup base, then what we'll do is we'll add more spices. And we'll only add what I added to it originally. So instead of 1 tablespoon of oregano, we may need 2. But that's our taste. Depends on how we're feeling that day. I'm sure we're all the same. Some days we like things spicier, sometimes not as spicy. You know, I'm even weird with my French fries. I like them crispy, sometimes I like them soft. You know, it just really depends. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a taste. Now, I don't suggest you change anything right this second. At least give everything 30 minutes to cook first, and then start adjusting your seasonings. Very good. I can taste everything. I can taste the soup base. I get a little bit of spice. It's absolutely doing great. So basically, I'm going to wait until probably 2, and then I'm going to add my hominy. Might be 1:30. I'll check and see what the texture of the meat is like first. But at least by 2, I'll add the hominy because I want it to sit in there for 1 hour and just absorb all the natural flavors of my soup. So basically, we'll be back in about an hour. Welcome back. I just want to let you know I put the hominy in. It's probably about 15 minutes ago, and it's 1:48 right now. It's just boiling, and all I'm doing is letting the hominy infuse in the sauce or in the soup, and then cooking the rest of the beef. Normally, you know, I always tell you guys I have meat on hand already pre-cooked so that I can make my soups sooner or faster than what it takes. But I just want to let you know this is coming out real good. I'm going to try a little bit of the broth. It's spicy, but not too spicy. It has a good flavor. So I'm really pleased. So we'll probably be back about 2:30 and it'll be all done. So thank you and we'll be back. Welcome back. I just took the pozole off the stove and we are ready to go. It looks delicious. Smells really good. Oh, I love the way hominy smells when it cooks inside the soup. This is what it looks like. And then what we're going to do is get some juice. Oh my gosh. And you know what I used to do is always write down how many bay leaves I would put in. Because I put 4 in this soup and I can see they're here, so I'm going to have to remember to pull them out so nobody gets any in their food. So basically, this is how it's going to look, and it looks delicious. So what I'm going to do, I have 3 bowls here. One for me, one for Mom, one for my hubby. Need one more for Son. But this is what it's going to look like. Traditionally, you want to go ahead and garnish. People can garnish with whatever they want. A lot of people do avocado. For sure they do radish and cilantro and usually cabbage. And then green onions. For me, I'm kind of plain. I like mine just like this. So I'm going to dive right in and try a bite. Oh my goodness, my bowl is hot. This is so good. You're going to love this recipe. It's not very hard. It's a little time consuming. Start to finish, it's about 3 hours, but that's because I did my own chili, blend in. I cooked my meat in with the soup. A lot of times I tell you guys I have pre-cooked meat, especially pork. Normally I make a pork pozole, but I wanted to do beef today because I was craving beef. But normally I have meat already pre-cooked so that I can kind of just put it in, but it's worth the 3 hours and it's on a fresher level than me just keeping everything frozen. But this soup is really delicious. I encourage you to try this. Everything came out great. I'll have all the directions in the description box. Thank you so much. Have a good day.